You're listening to RTL SA.
But now it's time to kick back and relax just a little bit and speak to Pat Symcox, who is joining us today. Unfortunately, we could not have him on Monday due to some technical issues, but I think that we have got them all resolved right now, and I can see Pat as we speak. And before we speak to him, I've just got to throw this little something in there. Joining me now, Pat Symcox. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Noel. Yeah, good to see you. Well, not in the flesh, but at least seeing you. Yeah, all good. All is good in the hood.
I had to throw in that little Sticky Fun and Mava thing over there because I'd never heard that song before until you introduced me to it.
What a beauty, eh?
Yeah, what a beautiful song. I love playing it now. So you're looking good.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, all good, eh?
It looks like you're getting younger and younger every time I see you. What's your secret?
Well, no drinking, no smoking, and just working hard, eh?
Is that a decision that you made on your own, or was that forced by our government?
Forced, eh? Forced. It's coming back slowly but surely. Hopefully we win a case today, eh?
Yeah, it's a big one. And I still think, however, regardless of how the decision turns out today, we're still going to wait a while before we can buy cigarettes. That's for sure. So what have you been up to, Pat? I follow your streams and I catch your live streams on a regular basis. And you talk a lot about the beautiful part of the world you live in.
Yeah, I live down the south coast, as you know, in a little village called Mtulumi, Noel, and I own the Remax franchises up and down the south coast. So we've got quite a lot of agents. We're the largest agency on the coast here, over 40-odd agents. So we really been under the pump a little bit. You know, it's been a tough little while because our industry really battled with the lockdown. And we're still battling a little bit, but we've opened offices within the regulations. And so, believe it or not, we're seeing a huge uptake from lots of hits and lots of inquiries for property on the south coast. So long may that last. And my agents all running around there. And I think there's been a huge change in values of people wanting to get out of where they are, come and live in great places and be online. So we're grateful for that for now. And other than that, you know, just sitting, trying to do a couple of things that keep me busy. You know, I like to read. I'm an avid reader, avid collector of books. No golf for now, as you know. Yeah. But I tell you, the day they open that golf course, I'm going to be playing for at least twice a day for a week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also I'm not the biggest golfer around, but I'm looking forward to swinging the clubs a little bit. Pat, in your stream the other day, you were talking about the beauty of the South Coast, and you've been down there for quite a while now. What's your favorite place on the South Coast? Because you mentioned a few of them. I think you went all the way from Toti down to Port St. John's, I think, or something like that. You discussed all these things and places.
Port Edward. Yeah, look, Noel, I've been here 25 years, and I bought a property down the south coast when I was still playing cricket. In fact, we were playing against New Zealand in the centenary test in about 1995. Yeah, well, so that tells you how long ago, 25 years ago. So, you know, I've been here since then, and I bought years ago. But what I love about coastal style living, it doesn't really matter where you live on the coast, whether it's north or south. Just the feel of the ocean for me is where you feel it. Ocean style living kind of leads to a relaxed kind of lifestyle, and I like that. And then couple that to the south coast. Well, we've got warm water. We're close to Durban, so if you want to go and watch good rugby like the Sharks, or there's great shopping centres close by. You've got Galleria and Toti over here. So we've got 9 golf courses. We've got, as I say, warm water, great weather. Grandkids love coming to visit people. And it's like a small village, you know. People start to get to know each other. There are little communities in each little town, whether you're at Scottborough or Pennington or Aberdeen or Potchefstroom, down to South Broom. Each one's got its own little community. And that community-style living, it appeals to me because people tend to look after each other. And they tend to look after one another. And I like that as opposed to I've lived in big cities where you don't even know your neighbour that well. don't know much about him. But yeah, on a Friday evening, neighbors get together. You go down to the beach and you see 10 of your people from the village. You sit and have a coffee, and I like that kind of style. And it used to exist on the North Coast. In the old days, I used to go up to Mshloti and Mshlanga and Belito. You'll remember them well. There were small little places where it was community style living. And now I go there and I see these huge shopping centres, and I feel like I'm in Johannesburg, and that's not me. I'm not.
It's
that
crazy.
Kind of
it's like Mshlanga and Belito have become one now. Almost.
It's over the top, man, and so I hope we never get to that place. It won't get there because they're small little community style hamlets that are along the way. So you asked me what are the nice places that I love, the South Coast. We've got an amazing golf courses. I mean, you know them, Donny, Selborne, Sandomir, Wild Coast, South Broome, Port Shepstone Country Club, Margate. They just reel off as you know, they're iconic golf courses. So I love those. I also like going out to Lake Eland. There's a great place out at Lake Eland. You can go, see some wildlife and drive around and see some things there. We've got amazing restaurants, and I just love the little quaint restaurants along the way.
Fresh
and we've
seafood.
Still got that old pub style life, where you can go from one little town, it's got its own little pub. You go to the Jolly Roger, then you go to the pit stop, and then you go up to 3rd Avenue, and you can almost have a little pub crawl along the way. And each guy's got his own little community that's supporting him, and everybody knows each other. So I like that. I find I resonate with that kind of lifestyle. If it makes sense to you, Noel.
Absolutely.
So, you ask me what I like about the South Coast, probably more the communities and the people that live here.
Now, Pat, just changing the subject a little bit. Cricket.
Yes.
Obviously, it's been devastated at the moment with COVID-19 and not being able to get the league going. But Graham Smith and the boys are working really hard and getting something going very, very soon, I believe. What do you think it's going to be like? What do you think cricket's going to look like for the rest of the year? Because the West Indies, of course, arrived in England today for their tour. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds and how that is going to translate into South Africa.
Well, I think it is one of the sports, I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway. So it doesn't affect anybody.
True story.
And lately, when the Proteas are playing, half the time there's not many people there anyway. So I don't know if that affects it much. It's a kind of game. It's non-contact, so I think it's possible. You just have to manage the change room scenario and find out how you can do that with testing. And Noel, this is going to be with us for a long time. So if we don't find a way around it and we just accept it as it is, well, then we're probably not going to play cricket for 2 years or 3 years or however long it takes. So that's kind of my worry. But from a South African cricket point of view, we were on the mend. I'm very grateful. I'm very glad that Graham Smith's got involved. He's got a deep passion for us, for the South African cricket. And Jacques Full will do an outstanding job. He's a great administrator. So while those two are in place, I think it's good news. The problem is, can they withstand the board pressure and political pressure that comes with it to make this thing work? We've seen so far the board has been an absolute mess. They've wasted a lot of money, wasted a lot of time. And it's quite amazing that they haven't been kicked off yet and they haven't resigned. They've tried to kick them off. They're so thick-skinned, they don't resign, But I mean, they've lost a lot of money, lost a lot of credibility. And Joe Public out there, I don't think he's got any, he sees any credibility from coming from the board of South Africa. Maybe Graham Smith and some of the players, obviously. But for the rest, there's a total rebuild needs to be done, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it looks like Graham Smith might be the guy to do that job. How long he'll stay there is the question, however. Why didn't you ever, after your career, get into administration or coaching or something in cricket?
Well, no, I went straight off into commentary, and I had many chances. And I was a national selector. I've helped many places. I managed all the cricketers. I managed the cricket team. I managed all the sportsmen in it, all the players in it, from the John T to Polly to the whole team. I managed them. I managed Gary Kirsten through his 4 years in India. and negotiated all his contracts. I've always done Lance Klusener's contracts and Gary's contract with India and back into South Africa. So I managed him all through that process, and as I say, a whole lot of the players. So I understand that side of it. In fact, you say, why didn't I get back in? When we first got back into world cricket, I was the players representative for 9 years while I was playing. So I was the link between the team and the board, and set up the contracts as they are today. I was part and parcel of setting up those contracts and putting them into place, from the medical aid to the provident funds to setting up the contract system with Dave Richardson and I. So I was intricately involved in that. I was offered coaching positions. David Richardson has always wanted me to go to the ICC and take a post there. Steve Waugh always wanted me to come and coach New South Wales, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
Often we do that. But, I always felt that being a coach, you get one guarantee, and that's that one day you'll get fired. I don't like being fired. So I went into commentary, and I commentated for SuperSport and then for lots of people around the world. And I enjoyed that very much so until, I stopped commentating for SuperSport, and then my business got a bit too big, and unfortunately I can't be away from it for too long anymore. So those times are gone, but I still love watching cricket. I speak to Mark Boucher quite often. He'll talk to me about the composition of his team if he's going to do selection issues. He'll talk to me. Graham Smith will talk to me. So I still feel a little bit in touch with that.
Okay, that's awesome. I want to ask you, there was a lot in the news recently. Sorry, I actually didn't mean to talk this much about cricket, but now that we're on the subject, there was an issue recently regarding Kolpak contracts and IPL, and how COVID-19 is going to affect IPL, and whether that might not be a good thing for the nations to get some players back, because the IPL is going to be put on hold for a while or something like that. I didn't really study much into it. Do you know much about that?
I saw a little bit, probably as much as you did, but let's just think that through. Kolpak, that's on the lips of most people. How do we stop people signing and going to play for somewhere else? And I'm not sure you can. I mean, rugby face the same thing. Guys can earn more money than they can earn here. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure you're ever going to stop that. And the amount of dollars that are available means I would go. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly.
The problem is only a select few can get in there. And along the way, a lot of fallouts happen. And then it doesn't work out for you. You may go to do a Kolpak but not play. I somehow think that playing for your country or playing for South Africa, it depends how deep-rooted that feeling is. And it varies from person to person. I wanted to play for South Africa. It's what I grew up wanting to do. I guess many rugby players grow up watching the Euros and think, I want to play for the Springboks. Now, that wanes, obviously. As you get older and you've played 100 times or 200 times or whatever, it becomes a little bit of old hat. So I understand that. And I'm not sure that you're ever going to stop people doing it. And we'll never stop it in terms of the rand versus the dollar or rand versus the pound. So there's no real solution to it, at all. I just think it's going to be something you're going to have to live with and understand. You're going to be the traction for somebody to get around it. But I must tell you, though, when you get older, the one thing that every player that has played rugby or cricket for South Africa or football, the one thing that they will always treasure is their blazer that hangs in the cupboard. And if you haven't got one of those, you can do what you like, but you cannot enter the club of playing international cricket, rugby, or soccer, or whatever.
Absolutely.
Without doing it. So if you're a very good player and you choose to go and not play Test cricket, and even in South Africa, there's probably only 90, maybe close to 85, 90 players that have played Test cricket since 1900. So if you want to get the Test players together, it doesn't matter how good you were, if you've not played a Test match, you're not in that club.
Yeah.
You might have millions, but you're not a Test cricketer. And, I take David Miller as a good example, and I think he's an amazing player. David, and he's a lovely kid, and I love him, and I know him very well. I always will wonder and think David Miller was good enough to play Test cricket, maybe.
I thought exactly the
But
same thing.
No, you will never know. So he will never be known as a test player, and it might not worry him at all. He's got a lot of money. He's played lots of one-dayers, but one-dayers, a lot of people play one-day cricket. There's only a really select few that play test matches, and I'm proud and I'm glad that I've played test cricket. Something that I'm proud of. So if that doesn't sit on your shoulders, and you feel that doesn't matter to you, well, that's fine. But I assure you, any rugby player that has got a blazer that played test rugby for South Africa, the one thing he will not give away easily is his rugby blazer.
Is that as well as his first pair of socks, as well as his first pair of shorts as well?
You can tell me all the best teams in the world, I don't care about them. The one thing you want is you want to play rugby for South Africa with a blazer, test rugby. And now that, if you keep that sacred and you keep it sacrosanct, I think that's the draw card.
Don't give them away too easily.
Don't make that cheap. Don't make it come easy.
Okay, one more cricket question for you, because obviously coming through now, you're a bit of a test match purist and a big fan of test matches. What's all this about 4-day tests and things like that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a financial issue, At the end of the day, a lot of the teams nowadays, it's quite technical, because the more we played one-day cricket, the more the game has speeded up. In the old days, people batted and blocked and blocked and blocked. And now the games seem to have speeded up because of T20 and Test. So you start to get results in 4 days, maybe. And you're also playing against nations, and there's a couple of weaker ones along the way now, So I understand why they want to do that. 4-day cricket, who's got the time to watch a 4-day game, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But let me tell you, go and speak to the players. They would choose to have no test time, no day. Make it as long as you like, because that's the ultimate test. That's what it is. It's a test. Yeah. But I understand in the modern world, time is precious, and they got to find a way around it. But test cricket is, when you start to cheapen the product in any way, whether it's the cap or the product, you lose something. The game is poorer for it. So I hope they don't do that.
Okay, so if you had a vote, yes or no, you would go no.
No, there's no doubt. I'd make it 6 days.
Even 10 days, why not? I mean, what was the longest test? I think it was 10 days.
The famous test in Durban was the timeless test. It was 9 days. After 9 days, ships had to leave, so they had to stop playing.
They never even finished that match.
They didn't finish the test now.
All right, Pat, in closing.
I was batting for 9 days.
Can you imagine bowling? How many overs would you have bowled as a spinner in those 9 days?
Oh, no. You'd have a 50-over spell.
Exactly.
Imagine
if you're lucky.
Like your 4th day of batting. The pitch looked how flat is that thing? I can just see Sean Pollard calling him to come in and bowl another over. He'd be walking on his knees when he ran. No.
Absolutely. In closing, what's up for Pat going forward? What you got in the future?
Well, we're trying to build our business still. It's exciting times. Obviously these times are tough, but there's always a lot of opportunity. I like to look. There's a great future in building the business and carrying on doing some good things. I'm at a stage in my life now. Kind of people call it the autumn. When you get to 60. But I'm in the space of trying to make opportunities for others. So I see many people trying to satisfy their dream of having a place down the coast. And so I like to think that in some way I'm trying to help a lot of people satisfy that dream. I've got some fish to fry, and I'm an avid birder and a conservationist, as well as an off-road camper. So I've got a lot of bush to go to, a lot of buck to see, a lot of birds to watch, and some good family time to spend with my family. So that's kind of mine in a nutshell, and where I'm trying to go. But I guess we've got to get through this COVID story first, and make sure we bet that it's trying times for all of us now, And
absolutely.
Sometimes I think it's more serious than what meets the eye, and I think we're entering in that phase in South Africa where a lot of us are going to be. We're going to be affected by it in some way. Families are going to be affected, businesses. It's going to touch us all. So it's a testing time going ahead now for the next three months or 4 months or so. I just hope everybody out there is going to stay safe.
Well, Pat, it's been great talking to you. Like I said, you are looking younger and younger every day, and it must be Estelle keeping you on your toes.
It is. There she is there. Yeah, that's it. It's there, right there.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Okay, Noel,
Pat,
thanks. Look after yourself, and well done what you're doing, and keep doing it, eh?
Thank you, 100%. And we'll catch up for a couple of cold ones and maybe a round of golf one of these days.
Anytime. Call me on here. Let's have a beer whenever you want for lunch. Good
Sounds
man.
like a plan.
RTLSA.